welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my December TBR. So there are 16 books that I want to read in December, plus an extra one that I will be picking randomly in this video through a little TBR jar. So let's just hop right into it. The first book is one that I talked about in my September and October book haul, which I will have linked above and in the description below, but it is Unseelie by Ivelisse Huseman, and this is one that I was so kindly sent by the publisher. This comes out on January 3rd of 2023, so that is why I am prioritizing it, because I want to get to it before it releases. But this is a YA fantasy following two twin sisters, and I do believe one of them has autism, and I am just super excited to get to this one. I just really feel like this could be a new favorite, and I'm super excited to get to it. The next one is Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. Adrienne Young is one of my favorite authors, and I believe this is her first adult fantasy release, so I'm super excited to give this one a try. I don't know too much about it, but it is by one of my favorite authors, so I have very high hopes for it. In a similar vein, I'm adding Belladonna by Adeline Grace to my TBR. This is also by one of my favorite authors, and it's again one of their first adult fantasy releases. I do know a little bit about this one, and that one of the love interest is death, so that's very intriguing. But again, I don't know too much about it, but since it's by one of my favorite authors, I have very high hopes for it. So I didn't say this at the beginning, but every single one of these books on my TBR are ones that I own, whether physically or digitally, and that is because I am participating in Clear Your Shit, which is a readathon hosted by Mouse Reads and Ink and Plasma. I will have all the details for the readathon linked down below, but this is one of my favorite readathons. I have a merch for it, and definitely participate if you can. But it is running from November to December, so there is still time to join in if you want to, but it is one of my favorite readathons. I've participated in every single one since the very beginning, so obviously I have to give some hype to this readathon. And yes, let's continue on with my TBR. Next, I have Crossbones by Kimberly Vale. This is a YA fantasy, and I think it's set around water or islands, something in that vein, I believe. Again, I don't like going into my books knowing too much, and I'm not even sure what drew me into this book, but I do own it, so I do want to get around to reading it. And then I have What Once Was Mine by Liz Bramwell, and this is one that is sort of a Tangled retelling, and it's in this whole series, but I've never read a single one in the series, so I don't think they are interconnected. I think they stand alone, but it's part of an overarching series of retelling every single Disney story. And I've been interested in some of them, but Tangled is one of my favorite Disney movies, so I'm excited to give this book adaptation a try. And then I have an e-arc of The Second Year Single by Kara Tamamachi, and this is an adult romance. I don't know too much about this. I did notice that the ratings are kind of low, so now I'm kind of nervous to go into this one, but I did really want to read this when I first requested it, and so hopefully it works for me and I actually enjoy it. And then I have another NetGalley e-arc, and this is The Duke Gets Even by Joanna Shoup. I've been really loving every single historical romances that I've read this year, and it is a new genre that I've been exploring this year, so I was really excited to get an e-arc of this, and I have really high hopes for it. Again, don't know too much about this one, but you know, I'm excited for it, like I've been saying for every single one of these books pretty much so far. But yeah, this one is going on to my TBR. Another e-arc that I have from NetGalley is The Do-Over by Suzanne Park. This is another adult romance, and it's by an author who I have read from before, and I have enjoyed some of their works, and I haven't enjoyed some other ones. So I'm excited to see where this one lands, because I'm pretty sure I've read one of this author's adult romances and didn't like it, but I have liked their previous young adult books, so I'm sort of interested in seeing if just their adult stuff doesn't work for me. but it's going on the TBR and we will see once I've finally gotten to it. And then one that I'm super excited to read is The Plus One by Maisie Eddings. Maisie Eddings is definitely a favorite author of mine. She is a new to me author this year, but she has come out with 2 releases in 2022, and that is A Brush with Love and then Lizzie Blake's Best Mistake, and I have given both 5 stars. So this is the next in this sort of series following all these friends and stuff. I know this one takes place at a wedding, and I believe it's sort of an enemies to lovers sort of thing, and I'm just really excited for it. I know that Maisie Eddings can do no wrong, and because I believe this one has tropes that I actually like, I am super interested in. And I say that because Lizzie Blake's Best Mistake has the accidental pregnancy trope, which is not one of my favorites, and yet Maisie Eddings still managed to make me absolutely love the book. So, you know, having my favorite tropes in there, I can't see this possibly going wrong. I have super high hopes for this one, and I cannot wait to get to it. Next, I have One Day in December by Josie Silver. This is a book I've had on my TBR for a while. I picked it up at a used bookstore and just have never gotten around to it. And that's mainly because this is a Christmas book and it just doesn't feel right to read it not in December. Also because the title has December in it. So hopefully this is the year that I finally get around to actually reading this book. And I believe this one is a second chance romance that like spans a whole bunch of time. Like they just happen to see each other and then don't meet for many, many years. But yeah, hopefully I actually end up getting to this one. And then another NetGalley arc that I have is The Christmas Clash by Suzanne Park. And yes, this is my second Suzanne Park book on this TBR, but this one is her YA contemporary romance Christmas book. So, you know, like I said, we will see if I end up enjoying her YA, if I happen to end up liking the adult romance. You know, we will get to really see and compare because I have an adult and a YA from her on this TBR, and I'm really excited for that. And continuing on with this Christmas theme, I have A Merry Little Meet Cute by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. I believe this one follows an adult entertainer who accidentally gets cast into sort of a Hallmark family Christmas movie, and you know, that sounds great. This is an adult romance, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. And then I have Once Upon a Duke by Erica Ridley. This is the first in a 12 Days of Christmas series, I believe is what it's called. But they're Christmas historical romances. And like I said, I've been really enjoying all of the historical romances that I've been reading. So I do want to read more. And a Christmas one just seems perfect for this time of year. So I'm adding it to my TBR. And a nonfiction book on my TBR is Into Thin Air by John Krakauer. I believe this is just his account of climbing Mount Everest. I've heard good things about this book and this author in general, and so I picked this one up at my used bookstore to give it a try. I am trying to read a nonfiction a month, so I would like to keep that going strong as it is the last month of the year, but you know, it is going on to my TBR. And then I have The Death of Miss Westaway by Ruth Ware. Ruth Ware is another hit or miss author for me, so I'm excited to see whether or not I like this one, but this is another I picked up from the used bookstore. The lady who runs the used bookstore that I go to is a big fan of Ruth Ware, so she's always hyping up Ruth Ware books to me every time I go in, so you know, I have to, of course, give it a try, and hopefully I end up liking it. And then I have 11/22/63 by Stephen King. I started this book, and I think I only made it a couple pages in before I just put it down, for no real reason, really, but this is a super hefty book, but I started it, and I really want to at least give it a fair chance and hopefully complete it and enjoy it. But yeah, that that's why this one is going on to my TBR. It's sort of a stretch because I already have a very long TBR, but you know, I want to at least make sizable progress in it. So yeah, this one is going on to my TBR. So those are the 16 books on my TBR, but I do want to sort of try out doing a TBR jar, and this is an idea that I had started over on my TikTok. I haven't really been as active on there, but I had this idea where I would just pick a random book and then vlog it. And, you know, I don't think I will be vlogging it for YouTube or anything, but I do still like the idea of just picking a random book each month or kind of whenever I feel like it and just having this random book decided for me that I will read. I want to kind of incorporate that into my monthly TBRs and just like see how it goes. So I have this tiny little Bulbasaur. This is actually a planter, but it's filled with all of these tiny pieces of paper with book titles written on them, and I'm going to randomly pick one. And I haven't updated this since I was doing that series on my TikTok, which will be linked below if you want to follow me on there. So hopefully I don't pick one that I've already read, because this hasn't been updated. So yeah, let's just pick one and see what we get. And I'll go for this one, which is The Family Upstairs. I don't know if you can see this. Hopefully you can kind of see that. But okay. Interesting. All right, so The Family Upstairs is by Lisa Jewell. This is another that I got from the used bookstore, recommended to me by the lady who runs the bookstore. I do have to get the sticker off though, that does bother me. But this is a mystery thriller, I believe. I don't know anything about it, but you know. It seems like it has short chapters, which is nice. So I'm adding this one to my TBR and giving it a shot this month. Okay, but those are all 17 of the books going on to my December TBR. Is that a lot of books? Yes. Do I think I'm going to finish all of them? Absolutely not. But you know, I'm going to give it my best shot. And hopefully I find a lot of new favorites because I don't have as many 5-star books as I would have liked for the amount of books that I have read this year, which is kind of disappointing, but hopefully some of these become new favorites of mine. And yeah, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like and hit the subscribe button, and comment down below anything that you feel like, what you're planning on reading in December, anything like that. And yeah, I will see you all in the next video. Bye!